Right then, in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the Tyne and Wear Metro, which is a metro system which operates around the Newcastle and Sunderland area in Tyne and Wear. So then, what do I think about this metro? Well, I actually think it's really cool. Now, obviously, it is nowhere near to the same size or to the same scale as the London Underground, and it shouldn't even be compared to the London Underground, because Tyne and Wear is obviously nowhere near the same size as London. However, for Tyne and Wear, I actually think this metro system is actually really cool. So, as I went to Tyne and Wear, there were two trains which were operating on the Tyne and Wear Metro. So you had the old trains, which were introduced back in the late 70s, a very long time ago, and we had the new trains, which came into service back in 2024, so not that long ago at all. Now, I actually think it's quite cool how I went to the Tyne and Wear Metro at the time which I did, because I managed to get a good recording on both types of trains. I think there's probably slightly more old trains on the service right now than the new ones. However, in the future, the old trains will disappear, meaning that the only trains which will be in service will be the new trains. However, as I said, I went to the Tyne and Wear Metro when both trains were in service. So let's start off by taking a look at the new trains, which are the Class 555s. Now, the difference between the Class 555s and the old trains is that on the new trains, they are air conditioned and the announcements are a lot louder and a lot clearer. However, the big pro that on the old trains, which you don't get on the new trains, is that on the old trains, you can actually sit at the front of the train and have a cab view of the line ahead. You don't get that with the new trains. However, the old trains are very, well, old and there's no air conditioning, and I actually went to Newcastle in a heat wave. It was 30 degrees. Now that must be very hot for Newcastle, considering that Newcastle is right up in the north of England, so 30 degrees in Newcastle is definitely something. However, being on the old trains in those temperatures, ooh, it was hot. However, that's enough rambling. Let's get straight into this video. So let's start off by taking a look at the new trains.
The train standing at platform 1 is for South Hilton.
The next station is Jarrow. Change here for local bus services. This is Jarrow. Change here for local bus services. This is Jarrow. This train is for all stations to South Shields. The next station is Bede. This is Bede. This is Bede.
And now let's take a look at the old trains.
Service to South Hilton. Tyne and Wear Metro service to Newcastle Airport.
Oh, those were the buttons. No, it's this.
Going down, doors closes.
Oh, do you want to close any slower?
For your protection, safety and security.
Shut up.
Please read as monitoring this car.
I do not care. Anyways, yeah, this is the
Course level.
lift at Monument Station in a Tyne and Wear Metro in Newcastle.
Doors open.